Ever felt like life's pushing you around? Imagine having the mental strength to stand unshaken, no matter what. Today, we're unlocking the secrets to building an unbreakable frame that commands respect in relationships, at work, and beyond. Skull, you savages.
Thor, protector of mankind, God amongst us, mighty and kind, wielding Odin's hammer strong, sending Jormungandr back where he belongs. Hammer of lightning, castle thunder, protector of wisdom, never a blunder. Thor, call upon thy might, guide us through the darkest night. Thor, God so grand, will you lift our hand? Climb above for DragonShip gleaming, adventure awaits when all dreaming. Viking, Valkyrie standing tall, circles, some Vikings hear the call. Join the Brotherhood's men, as we track on we ascend. God so grand, will you lift our hand? Climb above for DragonShip gleaming, adventure awaits when all dreaming. Live the dream, rising tide, lift all ships, take the ride. Thor, son of Odin true, protector proud will follow you. To the shield wall, Vikings, all jumps Vikings, see you in the heart. To the shield wall, to shield wall, to the shield wall, see you over the cross. The Lord comes, the heart falls. We will not die there tonight, for Thor is with us.
All right. Welcome to the DragonShip. I'm your host today, Paul Bauer. The DragonShip is the only panel show on the internet where a rising tide lifts all ships. Today, we are going to be talking about frame. More importantly, our man Wraith has a new book out. Thor's holding that up there. It's all about frame. It's power, frame, and identity. And so before we get into that, though, let's go around the horn. Let's start with the man of the hour. Let's start with Wraith. Wraith, what's going on for you? You're on mute, by the way.
Just been writing a lot lately, and trying to get, I've got the book out with Thor, and then I've got another book out. And the frame one's probably, it didn't come out first, but it's probably the first book that I wrote. And the reason it didn't come out first is trying to meet all the requirements to keep it within the guidelines of supporting Thor's series that's coming out. So there was a lot of going back and forth with Amazon, KDP, trying to get all that stuff straightened out. First book come out a little bit earlier because I didn't have those guidelines to worry about. I just wrote it, and it was more in line with how I write, and it was easier to publish, at least for me. But I wanted to service, the series in the style that it's written, because it's important to Thor. It's important to his legacy, and less so to mine because, he is, out of all of us, I guess he was the first one published. And he really set the tone for what this podcast means, but he sets the tone for what his group means. And I'm in his group, and I enjoy, the threads in Telegram. I don't attend that much into the sessions because I have a life outside of all this, but the Telegram threads I do participate in, and get to meet a lot of guys through that. So that's kind of what's been going on. That's what I've been doing, and that and living every day. So that's probably about it.
All right. Thor, what's going on with
Hey.
you, Thor? How are things?
Great. Congratulations, Wraith. I mean, I'm so thrilled with your book. I read it. It's amazing because, what we've witnessed in the last 5 years, you and I working with all these men, is they need mentorship. And you're one of the leaders in the mentorship field. And people just don't go and look for a famous guy. They find you by word of mouth. When they need you, the teacher appears. And that's what Wraith is. Wraith appears. And his Socratic method of teaching is pretty amazing. And I would find you hard pressed to find a guy that's worked in his group that hasn't completely changed his mindset and outlook. And this revolves around how Wraith takes a man through frame setting exercises. There's still a lot of misunderstanding, even though there's a great book by Ryan Stone on frame. How a guy constructs his frame is so integral to his identity as well. I mean, primarily the book I wrote on dominant masculine presence is about identity and being able to project it. You want foundational skills? How do I build it brick by brick? This is where, Wraith's book, the essential skills of a masculine presence, frame, and identity is important because it really gives you the tools that you would need to set that in motion. So that's what I'm up to. Definitely helping the guys, and I'm looking forward to working with AJ, who's really in the shoot and ready to get some things rolling. So we'll see AJ's next.
All right. Tarl, what's going on with you, brother?
Been working on the book on my own, physicality. I've got the outline mostly done, at least the first draft. Obviously, got to go through and edit it. Other than that, I've been working behind the scenes still. Thanks to Thor and the podcast, I had an opportunity to talk to MLD off the air a couple weeks ago and got his internet fixed now. So, and he knows what's up with the YouTube algorithm. So, trucking along, getting shit done.
All right. Mike Steele, what's going on with you?
I am enjoying my life out here in Vegas. I have some fantastic news that I'll share with you guys behind the scenes. Sorry to tease everyone watching right now, but I'm just having a great time, and I am privileged and honored to consistently be invited on this fantastic show. Thank you so much, Paul.
Yeah, man. And then AJ, his book is, man, it is so close. What's going on with you?
Let me turn my volume up on my mic. Not much, guys. Editing and formatting the book as we speak. It should be out in 2 weeks is my goal. With that, as of today is my last day as a level 2 critical facilities operations engineer, and tomorrow I start as a lead critical facilities operations engineer. It is official.
Congratulations.
Got a nice little $5 bump. Translates to 10K a year base. So living the dream, guys. Living the dream.
Yes, you are, Jakar. Thank you. That's awesome. Man.
Today I'm mopping floors, but tomorrow I'll be working on fries. Then
Exactly.
I'll be manager, and that's where the real money is.
Oh, dude. Here's the sad thing about my field, guys. You actually don't want to be a supervisor because the leads who are still wage earners actually make more than the supervisors with our built-in OT.
Yep.
Fascinating.
That was the same thing I did in a janitorial. It was I was the operations manager, and because I was on salary, I was making way less. I should have stayed on hourly.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, when you're a salary guy, they just abuse the shit out of you.
Yeah,
So the goal is to negotiate a ridiculously high salary.
Which
So-
is actually kind of funny because I'm losing one of the day shift supervisors actually quitting us, and he's going into the restaurant industry because he got a hell of a deal on picking up somebody else's restaurant that's out in the like Levant area. They would
Like
have to offer
ownership.
him, like, ownership. They'd have, like, my company would have to offer him 3 times the supervisor's salary to keep him.
yeah,
So
that's why
he's like,
entrepreneurship can do that for you. What I'm up to is so my book's been out for a little bit. I don't want to take a lot away from Thor's book or from Wraith's book today, but I am working on the audiobook. I finished up to chapter 7, so I have a few more chapters to go. I'm going to try to knock those out this weekend. I got Thor's files for the foreword and the bonus chapter. Guys, you get a bonus chapter when you get these books, and so once I get those all mastered and edited, I'll get those up to ACX, and the first audiobook should be coming out pretty soon.
So exciting.
Oh, yeah. That's yeah, Wraith, wait till you start working on the audiobook.
I'm trying to find someone to read it because you guys don't want to hear me talk for an hour.
Jack Napier is available, I'm sure.
I'll be happy to do it too.
it's funny. I said the same thing to Paul in some side conversations we had.
Yeah.
We talked about getting Mike Steele to read it in like a Trump voice or one of the other voices.
Optimus Prime for the entire
Optimus Prime.
There you go.
Oh man. So let's we are talking about Frame today. We are essentially talking about Wraith's book. So Wraith, why don't you give us the Cliff's notes of your book and what inspired you to write it, and how does it differ from other books in the space on Frame?
Okay, well, I guess what inspired me to write it was I had been teaching and lecturing on Frame through the Men's Empowerment Network. I think I did Frame for Fresh and Fit's group, and I did Frame for Thor's group. I don't know how I got into the Frame thing because that wasn't how I started in this space. I started in this space doing career advancement counseling, and when I started working with guys, I kind of noticed that a lot of guys didn't, first off, know who they were, and they couldn't sell themselves to an employer or even the employers they were working for to get promoted and those kind of things. So it kind of led to me listening to a lot of guys' stories and saying, okay, well, I think your problem is you don't know you, and the way you present you isn't beneficial. So that's how I started lecturing in men's and doing the other Fresh and Fit and DragonShip. And I sat down, it really forced me to sit down and write and start evaluating why I was successful and how I could translate that information into help other people be successful. So I started writing, doing the lectures and those kind of things. And I wrote the book. Actually, I wrote 90% of this book 4 years ago. I just didn't do anything with it. And about, 4 months ago, Thor asked me if I would, write something. And I thought I would write something new. And I think as we all discussed it in the group, and Thor kind of said, well, what are you going to write about finally? I said, I'm just going to write about Frame. And that's how the book came about. And I took all the notes that I'd made from, lecturing, and all the notes I'd made from talking to individuals and the things I told them that would help them. And I put that in the book. So the book talks about Frame. It talks about from a stoic point of view. And I guess that's basically because, every guy wants to be the strong silent type that people are attracted to. And that's kind of how it came about. I'm writing other stuff now, which is comparison points of view of how we develop our values and stuff like that. But the Frame book was the first one to get out because it was really important that the techniques be given to people. And if you read any of my books, because I got 2 published right now, I've got another 4 coming out over the next couple years. A lot of the techniques are the same, but there's an underlying note of how you have to connect with yourself and how you have to connect with your conscious and your subconscious mind. So, and that's what the book does. It gives you a lot of techniques on how to do that. So it's kind of I don't want to say step by step because it's not. It's more of a list of techniques that you can use to start to understanding yourself. And when you understand yourself, then you can start presenting yourself the way you want to be presented and the way you want people to perceive you.
All right. Look who's here. We got a special guest today.
The champ is here! The champ is here! The champ is here!
Gentlemen, how are we doing?
We're doing good. You know, I'm actually glad you're here, John, because you've been working with Wraith for a long time. You're probably well aware of his concepts of frame. His new book is out, if you didn't know. What would you say about Wraith's concepts of frame and how he teaches it?
Well, first of all, Paul, I want to tell you that I really like you a lot. I think you're a great content creator. I think you're a good guy. And I look forward to doing more work with you. I really respect you as an individual. I really do. Frame. I added, at first, I'm notoriously known for the words behind me, money, muscles, game, right? And I used to say just money, muscles, game at the beginning. But then I realized none of this is worth anything if you do not have frame in your life. Because if you do not have frame, eventually you will succumb to someone who does. And you will be not at the top of their priority list where you should be on your own. Wraith has been helping me continuously since we became friends, dating back to I think 2020 or maybe 2019. And frame is incredibly important in today's day and age because virtually no man has it anymore. I think that is the current plight of all of our situations with men. Men have no more frame. Men have no more self-esteem. They have no boundaries. They even think that having boundaries and having frame is actually toxic masculinity. They just feel like it's wrong. They're afraid to put themselves first. But when you're not first in your life, then, like I said before, you're going to be working for someone who's not going to have you at the top of their priority list, and your needs are not going to be met. The strongest position in a negotiation is the one who has the power to walk away. And that is the number one way to enforce your frame. You clearly let these people know what your rules of engagement are, what's okay with you, what's not okay with you. And if they do not abide by your boundaries, you simply have to exit. You walk away. You do not grab them and force them into your will. Nothing like that. You just disappear and remove from a situation at hand and go find someplace where your needs are being met, your boundaries are being respected. Because without that, without frame, you slowly but surely betray your inner self. And when betraying your inner self, that is the true betatization by 1,000 cuts. Because I don't believe in the betatization by 1,000 cuts unless you're a weak man and a weak individual. And when you lose yourself, people are not going to respect you. And when people don't respect you, good luck getting by in this life.
Yeah, all good points. So what I did today to prepare for this is I took everything in Wraith's book and I broke it out into the top 20 concepts. We're just going to go through some of these concepts. We might not make it to all 20. In fact, with a panel this big, we probably won't, which is a good thing. But just to give you guys just a taste, it's like when you're a cocaine dealer, you got to give people some free samples. So what we're going to do, we're going to go over the first concept here, and I'll sort of open the floor to anybody who wants to jump on this. But the first concept is understanding frame, the foundational concept of frame as the mental and emotional structure through which an individual perceives and interacts with the world. Who wants to jump on that?
That sounds more intelligent than the way I wrote it, but okay.
All right. Well, I'm just going to pick people. I'm going to be like, you know, the high school math teacher. Okay,
Can you repeat
Charlie, you're up. You're up.
There you go.
All right. So understanding frame, you know, like was already kind of mentioned by Wraith and Thor is, you know, and a lot of guys is identity. Who the fuck are you? What the fuck can you do? That's, you know, a lot of guys, you know, like when I first joined John's course and heard Wraith talking about the life plan, my mind was blown. I'm just like, oh shit, I've got dreams, but I don't got a plan. Holy shit, that was mentally a major breakthrough for me and really helping me understand my frame, because as I mentioned previously today, the last job that I had, that real job, was I was an operations manager of a janitorial crew that was in charge of 2 schools. And I was running that show top tier. I saved the contract. The last 2 guys they stopped lying to save their fucking job. And I was the guy that came in, told the truth, what I couldn't do, because the woman that contracted us, first thing she said was, just don't lie to me. And I'm like, oh, thank fucking God, I can deal with this person. But the problem is that I had no frame with my boss, and I had more to lose, and I needed him more than he needed me, even though he admitted to me that without that contract, his company would go belly up because it was supporting other smaller contracts. That's beside the point. I didn't have frame, so I didn't negotiate. I only, for a full year, working like 18-hour shifts. You want to know how much I made? It's embarrassing, but I'm going to admit it. $17,000 for that year. And the first 3 months of that was on the route work, where I was actually making quite a bit of money because I was getting overtime pay. I was doing all the duct work cleaning and whatnot, but it was a lot of in the dirt type work. So I'm just like, oh yeah, better office job, you know, where I just do administration should be better, right? Nope. No frame, had no concept of what the job, didn't demand to actually see what the actual contract was. And I didn't get that full contract until a month after I'd already started that position. So complete shit show, because as MLD illustrated, I had no fucking frame with my boss. I had no self-worth, no self-esteem. I was just trying to get paid and was trying to do whatever was the quickest, easiest way to do that. No negotiation, just like, yeah, this guy will be nice to me if I'm nice to him. Nope. He got a lot of free money from me. So in terms of me understanding my own frame, getting an MLD's course at the start of 2020 and realizing, oh shit, I don't even got a plan, right? And so I'm not even going to say my plan is A grade right now, but as you can see, I've been able to make a lot more progress than I had previously. Last 5 years, I made more progress than the previous 10 easily. So yeah. Hope that makes sense.
One thing you mentioned there is, not having a plan, and I think it's been mentioned too, a lot of guys just don't know what they want. No one actually sits down and thinks about what they want. Most people tiptoe through life hoping they make it safely to death. They just sort of show up and do what they're told, and they don't know why they're where they're at. It's because they've never sat down and figured out how do you want your life to be? I mean, you actually have control over that if you didn't know. Mike Steele, I'm going to ask you this one. This next one is classical Stoic perspective on frame. This is one of the things I actually really liked about Wraith's book compared to Ryan's book, which is why I think this is an excellent compliment. Right. If you guys already have Ryan's book, get this book too. It's really going to add to it. But Wraith really goes into Stoicism and how important that can be in developing a strong frame. But yeah, it's the role of Stoicism in shaping the concept of frame, emphasizing perception control and rationality in maintaining that strong frame. Have you ever studied any Stoicism or anything, Mike?
Not the ones that people typically associate with Stoicism. Like if you bring up your TikTok or your Instagram feed, I'm sure you're going to get some like Marcus Aurelius, some AI generated marble statue with Morgan Freeman reading quotes in the background. We've all seen that. But when it comes to Stoicism, I'm not trying to make this the Wraith hour, but I got to admit, I think Wraith is one of the most stoic guys I know. Wraith doesn't even raise his voice for entertainment purposes like I do. Like, I'm a pretty stoic person, but then I'll go all over the place for funsies, But Wraith is just like, you do what you do your thing, and it is what it is. Like, he never raises his voice, not even for fun. And so I admire that about him. My introduction to frame and Stoicism was Wraith, because even though I know really great guys like Donovan and of course MLD, we when our convictions meet a foe, like say when MLD kind of goes off about, you know, the elites trying to screw our shit up and tear us all down, but we need to fight back, he raises his voice. And that's okay. That's because he's passionate and he gives a damn. But with Wraith, he's always calm, because it's not about fighting but maneuvering with Wraith. And so you kind of put me on the spot here. I'm still kind of thinking. Basically, what I'm taking a really long time to say is that Wraith is the kind of guy, I'm not trying to copy him, but there are definitely qualities to him that I respect. And if I can adopt a little bit of that and learn some of that from him and be a calming presence, that's the thing. Wraith, kind of like Thor, is a calming presence. And if you catch yourself getting too loud and boisterous and gerbily or hamster-like around Wraith is just kind of look at you and just go, like, just with a look, he'll just go, what's your problem? Just by looking at you. And that gets you to reflect on yourself, because his frame and his stoicism is just so present. And so, yeah, I actually have my frame statement pulled up here. If there's a good part in the show, I'll actually read it here. But that's where I really learned about all of it, was from him, not from any of this AI generated stuff that people are pushing out nowadays.
Fair enough. You know, if you do read Marcus Aurelius's meditations. Yeah,
yes.
it's relatively short, but it's profound. Like, it's really good.
It's good. For 2,000 years old, yeah, it's good.
Yeah. For any, however old, 5 years.
Oh yeah, the book, as opposed to, you know, bite-sized chunks on social media.
Twitter, yeah. So normally I would stop now and play a commercial, but since we haven't brought this up and we are talking about Racebook, I do want to show this awesome picture that Thor took, because he has all 3 books now in this that are now available in the series. The original, A Dominant Masculine Presence, my book, and then of course Wraith's book that just came out, which is what we're talking about today. And of course you've got to have, you know, Thor's throwing axe and his throwing knife there to make it a little more badass. And then of course Thor has them up here on his mantle, you know. So this is awesome. I'm dropping a link to it in the chat. If you guys haven't got it yet, definitely get Wraith's book. It is available now in all formats. All right, let's get on to the next topic here, which is frame and emotional regulation. I'm going to throw this over to AJ because his book is on emotional control. So frame and emotional regulation, how frame influences emotional control and the importance of developing emotional intelligence for maintaining a resilient frame.
That is good, deep question right there. So frame and emotional durability, they go hand in hand, because I kind of, in my book, I kind of link it back to Ryan Fowler's work on the toxic shame and generational curses, and how that will affect your frame as an adult, and how you mirror your parents' relationship. You can mirror that into the future if you do not get your frame under control. I'm trying to think what else is in there. There's a whole bunch of stuff I can go on with this, but I don't want to take up too much time.
Well, I'll add to that. I mean, a lot of guys don't realize this, because, you know, we've all read books from, let's say, Rollo, right? The Rational Male. We're all supposed to be rational people. We're all supposed to not have feelings, because women have emotions and feelings, right? Guys don't have emotions and feelings. But the truth is, men have emotions and feelings, and you should feel bad for that. Okay. And if you don't get control of your emotions are going to get control of you.
Yes.
And you're going to lead your life the way women act, which is they are controlled by their emotions. And if you want to be a man, you can't be that way. You have to be able to have some emotional regulation, and the techniques that Wraith brings up in this book will show you how to get there.
I do go into that as well, and I think everyone should do it. Thor mentions it. I think Eckhart Tolle is probably the best person for it with the power of now. But use that third-party observer. because once you build up frame, and this will actually help you build frame as well, is step away from your emotions and figure out why you're feeling that way in that moment. What is the underlying trigger of this triggering event is kind of one thing I go into in my book.
Well, I just want to say that, when you talk about, controlling emotions and stuff like that, and Paul's right. Everybody has emotions. You can't get away from it. They're there. But what you can do is engage, rationally with those emotions. Evaluate the emotions. See if they're true, or they're being, given to you based on, some frustrations, trauma, or something that you've had in your life. The biggest part, when I work with guys, is trying to get them to not let their past experiences control their futures. Okay, and you do that by controlling everything in the now, which is what Eckhart Tolle says. I'm not a big fan of Tolle, but because I think that there's a lot of feminist perspective in his work, but from a standpoint of, do you live in the now? Yes, you do. And what's in the past you can't control, and what's in the future you can set the tone for. So, those are the things that I looked at when I was sitting there trying to figure out how I did this and how I control my emotions and stuff like that. And it is about letting go of the past in a lot of respects, and it is about planning for the future and defining the future that you want. But you have to do that from a perspective of where you're at, how you, the past tells you how you got there, but it doesn't say that, that's going to be the future. And it's kind of woo-woo bullshit sometimes, I guess. But, let's face it, our mind is full of woo-woo bullshit. There's things that we can't explain, and there's things that we're always searching for. So, but emotional control is really about taking responsibility for where you're at, and how you're gonna take where you're at and move to the future. But it's a lot about values and how you develop those values and beliefs. Now, I'll go all it in the book. I'm not going to sit here and talk for 2 hours about it on here, but it's important, guys. And if you don't delve into it and start doing the work, you're going to be the you are now is who you're going to be in the future. And a lot of those people are controlled by their past.
That's something I bring up a lot on my channel, because a lot of guys, they either dwell on their past, or they're focused they're focused negatively on their future. Like, they're worried about their future. And if you're always worried about your past and stuff like that, that usually develops depression. And if you're constantly worried about what's going to happen in the future, that usually develops anxiety. But the thing is, neither of those exist. They exist only in your mind. The only thing that is real is like right now, right here in the presence, which is what Eckhart Tolle sort of, his whole book just broken down into Cliff's Notes is really what that's all about.
Yeah, real quick, I do want to add on to that, is that was one of the things that I was taught about martial arts early on by my own father, was about, you have a monster inside of you as a man. You got to be prepared. You're primed for combat 24/7, 365. This is how you're wired. You got to control that, because if you don't, you're going to lose control of that monster, and that monster will hurt the ones you love the most. So that was one of the first lessons my father taught me about emotional durability and self-control. And more or less what one of the other gentlemen from MLD's group taught: control the controllables. You're the number one controllable. A lot of guys rag on the term emotional intelligence, but a lot of guys are emotionally retarded. They really don't know their own emotions. And therefore, when they do experience one, what do? They shove it down and try to bottle it up, as they always say. And this is where a lot of guys don't deal with the problems that are causing that emotion. Emotions are there to let you know why you're mad, why you're sad, and what is your motivation. You need to be motivated to do something. It's the same thing with boredom. Whenever I get bored, I don't entertain myself. I educate myself. And that's why I'm so fucking smart. It's not because I'm actually smart. It's because I force myself to do something I wouldn't normally want to do, rather than coping with the bullshit and not solving the problems. So I address the problem one bite at a time and control my fucking emotions so I can do it.
You know what I admire most about you, Tarl, is you're so humble.
Yeah. Let me say something about emotions, okay? And when it comes to when a man experiences emotions, if you can't experience your emotions, you can't tell when people are breaking your boundaries, okay? You probably don't have boundaries because you're all over the place. And, you can't tell, when you're totally emotional, you can't tell what values you have, because you're being driven by some past event that, as a child, you didn't look at it rationally, and you take that and you move that fear, frustration, anger into your life today. And you got to deal with all that shit, guys. You can't walk around being angry at the world, fearful of the world, and frustrated with the world. Because the world's going to be there the next day you wake up. What you can do is go into it. This is how I'm going to live my life. And this is what frame is. How do you live your life based on your values and the values you have, the beliefs you have, and how do you project that to other people? That is frame. And that sets boundaries, and it sets in how people are going to represent themselves to you. Now, we can go into the bullshit about how do they represent themselves to you? Can you see through that, the lies or the fallacies in what they're presenting? But that's another book. So
stay tuned. Wraith's got four more books coming out.
14
14 more books coming out.
I love it. Yeah.
Here, Mike, if you bring him up, hit the Odin hole.
Siege D with the $4.99 super chat. Thank you very much for the support, Siege D. Glad Wraith was able to join this episode to talk about his frame book and its concepts. I'm gonna get his after I'm done finishing Paul's book.
All right. And we got the next one.
I'll say one more thing about the emotional regulation just to set the tone, since we're probably going to throw some actionable advice out there on this. When it comes to emotional regulation and durability, one of the best things, Wraith is a huge resource here. Realize that the man's lived a lot of life, and with that comes a lot of hardship. He's had 2 wives die out from under him. He knows life, and so he's had to literally make that application of emotional regulation, or it would overrun him in his personal life. I've had some similar experiences. One of the things that helps me, and I wrote about as well, is noticing the difference between feelings and emotions. They come from different places. In the basal ganglia of the brain, feelings are felt in the body. You ever get a feeling in your stomach like you're sick to your stomach? Feeling, isn't it? So is anger a feeling? If it manifests as something in your body, yes. So if you can distinguish between what your body is feeling, that is actually a medical term, feeling. You actually feel something, somewhere on your body. An emotion you don't necessarily feel in your body. And if you can recognize the differences, you can start to really tackle some of these emotions and basically hold them off or tell them, I'm going to deal with them at a different spot. And there's different techniques for that. You can use feelings if you want. Physical actions help dull things. I mostly refer to guys and tell them, take on anger, sadness, and loneliness. If you can take those on, those 3 are the ones you want to absolutely regulate. Then everything else is pretty easy. You might take on more if you're a reactionary personality where everything gets you to react in a physical way. And that's a different issue. That's not what I'm talking about. But yeah, definitely anger and sadness. Those sort of things are hard for guys to deal with. So anyway, that's my advice. Know the difference between feelings and emotions, where the emotions are created in that prefrontal cortex as it comes up the basal ganglia, that very low level thinking where it's fast feeling based in your body. Hey, that burns me move to where, I'm sad, I don't want to go to the gym today. Those, a lot of guys don't even recognize the difference. So, and of course we don't help it in our language, right? We don't help it so much, because when we say we're happy, we say we have a feeling. And so everything's a feeling to us these days. Shoot, didn't we have t-shirts just not too long ago with our buddy Myron? Something about the girls. I feel.
But I feel like, yes.
Yeah, I feel like. Well, know this. You're a dude and you said you feel like, well, welcome to being a modern woman.
All right, and Siege D with the second $4.99 super chat. Hey, MLD's here. Thanks for the free consult last night, man.
All right.
You are welcome. I'm always there Friday doing it live. Come on down. I get you free consultations every Friday on my channel.
All right. The next concept here is, let's go with frame and personal relationships. The impact of frame on personal relationships, including setting boundaries, effective communication, and conflict resolution. Now, one thing I'll say about this, I think modern psychology, modern, marriage counseling, they put an overemphasis on communication and conflict resolution. But I don't personally, I think it's helpful. Like it's important to be able to speak in an effective way. But in a long-term relationship, I think in order to build that genuine desire, there's other things that are a little more important. But it is paramount. Like, it is good to know all these types of things, what not to do, right? Don't dear, learn effective communication techniques like Paul Benjamin's Luca model is awesome. I talk about that one a lot. I'm gonna throw this one over to MLD. How important is frame and personal relationships, as well as the communication stuff?
Oh man, super important, because I'll just speak from my personal experience. So I grew up poor, and I feel like Kamala Harris. I grew up in the middle class. I grew up poor and stuff, right? So when I came into money, I thought everybody just liked me for me. And then I started to realize that like people were coming to me for their own agendas. And that was pretty painful to deal with, because it's never fun to find out somebody likes you for anything but you. And so I started to realize that a lot of these people that were in my life were not really my friends. They didn't really have my best interest at heart. And it was Wraith that told me, he's like, at this stage in your life, you just need to be around people who love you and want the best for you. And I called him a cold-hearted bastard. I never forget that. I'm like, you're a cold-hearted man, but because I just didn't want to accept the reality that there are people out there who will just try to be around you for clout. I have a cousin who I haven't talked to in years, and I went to Miami this May. I was on Fresh and Fit, and this lunatic is running around telling everybody that we're great friends and how he's my cousin, and we were so close and all this stuff. And I was just like, dude, I haven't talked to you in years, and I don't want to start talking to you now, like at all. Girl in my life, couple of girls in my life at the time, this is like 2021, 2022. That's when I started cleaning house. And former business partners, all these things. I thought these people were just like on Team Jonathan, on team, not even MLD, but Team Jonathan, me. And I realized part of frame is kicking people out of your life. And at the end of the day, if somebody is not fully on your side in a symbiotic relationship where you're both getting benefits from it, then that person is going to hold you down and weigh you down. And you got to be strong enough to tell people, hey, guess what? Like, you got to go. And, it is painful. It's painful, but you have to have frame in your relationships, because the guy who's friends with everybody is friends with nobody. You know, the guy who everybody likes is a guy. If everybody likes a guy, I find it as a red flag. You know, because I'm just thinking to myself, okay, so this guy is just willing to tolerate all sorts of treatment from all sorts of different kinds of people. Not something I want to deal with. And yeah, like I said at my initial statement, you have to analyze these people in your life. You got to let them know your boundaries, and if they continually violate your boundaries, then they have to go. And that is the end of the conversation. They have to go. Otherwise, it's just gonna, you're gonna be walking around life with a giant anchor on your neck. And taking up that mental real estate in your mind of like even having to defend yourself to somebody, right? Or even to defend your thoughts when you don't even want to defend them, right? Because these people aren't on the same line as you. They're not in the same frame as you, right? And they're constantly pushing for you to believe what they want you to believe. It's exhausting. It's a waste of your time. It's a waste of your mental resource. And it's like a shoe. It's like a shoe you're walking around with a rock in it. Not ideal.
Shut up and take my money.
Especially if you want to optimize your life for maximum achievement. That's just something you really do not want to have in your life. So you got to make the move to give them the cut. And if they don't live up to your standards, like it's up to you to cut them down and cut them off. Because if not, they're just going to be a thorn in your side. That's something you do not want whatsoever.
So true.
So true.
And I want to thank John here real quick because it's related to that. John, thank you so much for teaching me that back when you were coaching me. Right before I called into your show for the first time, and you gave me the Rolex analogy when it came to my worth. I was listening to you a lot, and I had someone in my life that I had been friends with for a very long time, which I now know was a big mistake. And yes. I knew something had to change when I was just shooting the shit with him on the phone one day, and he informed me that he was at Lowe's buying riot gear. And I'm like, what for? What are you going to be doing? And he was in Seattle, and he was going to head down to the Chaz with Antifa, and he was going to march with them.
Oh God!
And
did his mom drive him there and drop him off?
No, actually, now that I see the world as it truly is, I would probably be better friends with his mom now than he is. So,
she hot?
No.
Yeah. Did you hit that?
Well, I mean, going like you have to realize. Like, I'll go back to my example. There's a guy. I have this group chat Tokyo, right? A couple millionaires in there. And this lunatic was always talking about like, oh, these feminists and the government, we got to kill them all. And like this guy can't even throw a fit, let alone a punch, right? And this guy's talking about, all these things he wants to do. And I was just like, dude, grow up, be a man, and handle your problems like a straight white male that you are. Go get rich. Go make money. That's how you get revenge on the system. But he's working his terrible job with his terrible life, and he's just so filled with anger. And everybody around us is like, eventually too, when somebody doesn't fit into the frame of the group, like you will be excommunicated. You will be kicked out, And yeah, we kicked the guy out, and then the group is doing great now. And like, people in there are still doing success and everything. Cause you can't look, man, like I get a lot of flack for calling people losers, but there are losers in life. Okay. There are winners and there are losers. And if you are in the mindset and of the frame that I want to be a winner, you cannot be around losers. Their loserdom will jump on you. It is statistically, scientifically proven across the board with weight loss, with weight gain, with financial gain, with divorce. Okay. People's cancer will jump on you. So you have to protect yourself. That's what frame is. That's why this is the most important component of the entire masculine composition. If you have no frame, you are weak, and it is what it is. And you have to understand, you live once, and as far as we know, you die forever. Okay, so what are you going to do with your finite time? Are you going to hang out with losers and try to win them over and everything? All you're doing is projecting your need to get your shit together when you're trying to help all these people around you who don't have their shit together, and you don't have your shit together too. So cut the bullshit, cut the fat, Get them out of your life because it is a cancer, and cancer kills, and it will kill your dreams. I've seen so many powerful men, successful men brought to their knees literally by a terrible woman or a terrible boss or a terrible succubus kind of family that is just like leeching off of you, and you're the only one that has your shit together, and you can't elevate because you're dragging everybody along with you. And I'm not saying you have to abandon your family, but in some circumstances you do. And it is hard. It is a harsh reality, but welcome to manhood. You got to deal with it. And that's the way you got to handle it.
And the cherry on top of all this, John, that friend that I dropped is no longer a man.
No way. He's trans?
I probably shouldn't have laughed like that.
No way.
It's funny that you guys bring this up because I actually consulted with Thor, Paul, and Glenn and Laurent actually on this very subject of cutting people off with my own family. So this is the first I've talked about it. The only thing I have with them is I pay $20 a month for their cell phone line because it's just $20. It gives them a cell phone in Vermont, and they're only to contact me in case of emergency or death from now on. Just because I had a realization, it's like 17 years, we're already physically estranged. Might as well just cut it off mentally, because the only time they ever contact me is when they would need something or just not really to check up on me. And I was the one contacting them on almost a weekly basis for the last 17 years, with the few exceptions like deployments, boot camp. When I first got into the red pill space, following the content because I was trying to figure out things and I was still ashamed about what happened to me then. But yeah, it's liberating a little bit because neither of my sisters really like me. Like my younger sister doesn't talk to me unless it's like the holidays, and then my older sister's a drug addict, so I cut her off a long time ago.
Yeah, I had to cut my sister off too because she's just like this ticking time bomb of drama. My younger brother's like the nicest person in her family, and even he said it to me. He's like, "You just have to tolerate Brittany. You just have to tolerate her." I'm like, damn, if the nicest person in the family is saying this. And, that's, look, a lot of my mentors too. Brandon Carter cut off his sister because she was just being disrespectful. And he thought to himself, why do I need to put up with this? Why? Like, what value are you bringing to my life other than dragging me down? And even if somebody is bringing value to your life, but they're encroaching and violating your values, now who are you? You're a sellout. And betraying yourself is the number one thing that is a silent killer amongst men. When you know in your heart of hearts that somebody is trying you, somebody's insulting you, maybe they're stealing from you, they're doing something that's not on board with your plan, with your agenda, with the way you want to operate in life, and you silently take that, you are betraying yourself, and you're not going to get where you want to get. And it's a harsh reality, but it is what it is. And I don't know if I'm wrong, but I think I'll defer to Wraith and Thor on this one. But if somebody is consistently causing trouble in my life or violating my boundaries or being disrespectful, I'm just like, look, man, I don't need to put up with this. There's just no reason for me to put up with this, because why?
Yep.
Why?
Yeah, like I even went as far as foregoing my possible inheritance. Like, I'll let my sisters fight over 50 acres of land in Vermont. I'd much rather not deal with the headache. I'd rather watch it kind of burn. In that case.
Make your own fortune.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I'm doing.
Even if you look at it from the flip side, if somebody's acting in a way that's not beneficial to even them or to the relationship on the other side, you enabling that is bad as well. You're enabling bad behavior by not having those boundaries. Those boundaries are meant to correct people so that way they can do better. And if they can't do better with your help, then the only chance they have is to do better without your help. Because if they're literally eating it's like you see these the 600-pound life type shows and whatnot, and it's like these people can't even get out of bed. How are they fat? Somebody is feeding them.
Mm-hmm. If they could do better, what did they say? If you knew better, you could do better, but you're not.
Let me say something about cutting people off. Don't do it by ultimatums, guys. If they consistently attack your boundaries, giving an ultimatum is not going to change that. So you're better off just saying, after 2 to 3 times that they violated your boundaries, just say, look, we're done. It's a stronger stance, and it doesn't allow them the opportunity to promise change and increase your expectations for change and cause you even more pain, heartache, or drama in the future. It's ultimatums. Living your life by ultimatums is a coward's way.
Well, it's a
I
declaration
I
of
got, I got something
powerlessness
to
too.
comment on because race experience and my experience as well. Guys, it changes in your lifetime. I'll tell you from your 20s to 30s, it does. It's important that you do what all of you said about, isolating losers and people that are essentially energy vampires is what they are. If you don't know what those are, it'd be good to understand that are draining vital energy from you. When you actually do something like acquire a dominant masculine presence where you have frame, like Wraith talks about in your own life, you don't have to boundary these people at all. What you end up creating is a vibe or a barrier of truth that surrounds you with your actions, even a barrier of silence where these people will extract themselves from your life based on how you're living your life. And that's something I've experienced. I'm sure Wraith has experienced that too. As you get older, that becomes much more honed in, where you recognize signs early, but you're not allowing these people to ever do the energy vampire thing, and you're not actually announcing it or shutting them down. They extract themselves from your life because of that strong, dominant masculine presence without even being announced. It's like, this guy sees who I really am. He has perspicacity. He has discernment on me. He just looks at me and knows I'm fucking bullshitting. And
Yep.
I've experienced this quite a few times. I imagine Wraith has comments on that because he sets his frame that way. Am I wrong, Wraith?
No, you're right. I mean, and we've talked about this. I don't suffer fools, and I don't attract them either. That's the good thing, and I don't attract them because, when we have conversations, in groups and stuff like that, fools don't walk up to me. People wanting to learn may, but fools don't, because
Yeah, and I think experience really helps get you there.
yeah, and what I'm talking about for when I was talking about ultimatums, I was talking about that for guys that are just starting down this journey.
Yeah.
Because
Agree.
you're going to have a lot of people in your life that aren't beneficial to you, and you're going to want to hold on to them. And as John says, I'm a cold-hearted bastard. I tell you, you can't hold on to failure. And those people are failure.
Yeah, isn't it? It's a sad reality too. Like, there's some people that I coach that, I have a big heart and I really want everybody to win, but it does break my heart when I see a guy that just like, this guy's fucked. This guy's like, this is who this guy is. And it's a part of, like, accepting reality as being part of a man, right? Accepting it for how it is. And yeah, when you're just, some people are, my mom said this, and it really hits home to me now, but she says, the world needs ditch diggers too. The world, we need people working the fry basket at McDonald's. We need people to, simp for girls to make us look great, because I mean, that's just the way the world is. The reason, the number, I love losers. And you know why I love losers? Because they give me value as a winner. Because if everybody's a winner, then nobody's a winner, right? But it's the losers that give us the inherent value. Now, you don't want to go down the path where you're just like, well, at least I'm not this 400-pound guy down here, right? Because you don't want to be setting low standards for yourself. But at the same time, you have to accept the reality of life, and the majority of people are losers. And one thing that again, a great book by the worst man in the world, Aaron Clary, The Curse of the High IQ. That book was a real freeing book for me, and I'll tell you why. Because it made me realize, like, okay, this is why I feel so alone. This is why I feel so isolated. This is why no one can keep up with me in regards to work ethic. This is why I'm blowing 95% of my competition out of the water. This is why I feel a constant nag at me to consistently go, right? because
Is that when you realized you were a god amongst men?
I don't know if I'm a god amongst men, but I think I'm doing okay for myself. I'm keeping the lights on. You know, I'm riding a pedal bike right now to keep the lights on in the house. You know,
My goal is to make sure you get Dunning-Kruger. So
I'm too dumb to even know what that means, but but you know, like another thing that really opened my eyes was the bell curve, like the IQ bell curve. When I realized, like, holy shit, 50% of the human population is 100 IQ or less.
wow.
Yeah.
And then I just thought to myself, you know, I was just like, holy cow, that was mind blowing. And then when C19 hit, I was like, okay, now I see it. Everybody's retarded, you know? So
Yeah, for clarity, real quick about the Dunning-Kruger effect, is that basically looks at that same type of bell curve. And I could tell the whole story about how this study was even done, but Dr. Dunning and Dr. Kruger did a study, and basically the results of the study confirmed that human beings that are stupid think they're smart because they're stupid, and human beings that are smart think they're stupid because they're smart.
Yeah, but the part of the study I really loved is that it actually correlated out in motivation. It actually motivated those people to do more, even though it was irritating as shit and they didn't know anything. It really motivated them. It was wild.
So what does that mean when you want me to Dunning-Kruger? You want me to, what does that mean?
Just get incredible confidence, and I'm just teasing you, man.
Well, part of Dunning-Kruger, the Dunning-Kruger effect too, is that you have overwhelming confidence in something, but you don't have the skills in it. So you jump off the deep end and say, "Fuck it, I'm going to do it," and then you find yourself at the bottom going, "Oh fuck, I don't know anything."
Sink or swim. There's
right,
a good,
but then you
good
do
out
figure it out, and you actually become a smart person. So it's not a bad thing. Donovan Sharp has joined us. What's going on, Donovan?
One of my favorite humans
today.
Holy smokes, man.
Yeah, one of my favorite humans, Big D. Thanks for joining.
Stop it. No, thank you very much. I was actually having a little trouble with my internet, but it was actually operator error. I forgot, because Viking Paradigm, thank God for this guy. He set up my internet so that I have a really, really strong internet connection. Well, my computer automatically, so I restarted my computer and it automatically went to Wi-Fi. And I was wondering, I was like, why can't I get into here? Like, I was struggling it for like, I don't know, maybe a half an hour or so. And then finally I was like, oh, it's because my Wi-Fi is on. So I had to restart the computer. And of course, Viking Paradigm, you know, when you restart the computer and you're doing all this, you have to reconfigure everything. Thankfully, you were a good teacher, and so here I am. To make a very long story very short.
One thing I want to show real quick, because we are talking about Wraith's book today. Okay. And Wraith's book is a part of the Essential Skills of a Masculine Presence line, which is all based on Thor's original book. And so I just want to play a commercial for Thor's original book real quick.
Okay, let's do it.
Ever feel like the world is trying to make you smaller? That the qualities that used to define you are now something to be ashamed of? It's not just you. For decades, society has been pushing men to fit into a mold that doesn't match who they are. But there's a way out. A path to reclaim what it means to be a man. A Dominant Masculine Presence by R.P. Thor is the guide you've been waiting for. In this book, you'll discover the 7 essential skills that every man needs to stand tall and take control. Learn how to project confidence, master your emotions, and communicate with authority. R.P. Thor takes you through real-life examples, sharing practical techniques to help you develop your own dominant masculine presence. It's time to stop feeling sidelined. Time to step up and lead. With a dominant masculine presence, you can become the man you were meant to be. Order a Dominant Masculine Presence now on Amazon or listen on Audible. Rediscover your strength. Reclaim your life.
I fucking love AI, dude.
Man, what a panel today. Look at this.
Love it.
Oh, man. It really makes my day.
Yeah.
A lot of my favorite humans here.
It's a full panel today. Let's do one more topic, and then we'll go ahead and go around the horn.
We got some super chats too.
Oh,
yes, so we'll do one more topic. We'll do super chats, and then we'll wrap up. Sound good?
I'll tell you what, we got a lot of. I'm gonna tell you what. Everybody's beard game today is on point, man. Holy smokes!
I got that alpha beard oil that Rich Cooper sells. I'm just kidding.
Well, we're on the DragonShip.
All the girls are coming now, bro. You better watch out, bro.
Yeah, hey, sometimes you have to like wash off the pheromone soap because there's so much vagina being thrown.
Too many. There's too many.
They're at the door right now.
Yeah, dude, I'm telling you right now. Like,
I can't imagine what it's going to be like at the CME.
damn right.
You know I'm coming.
So the last one I want to go over here, which I think is a fun topic, it's just a fun topic, right? Is navigating shit tests, strategies for maintaining frame under pressure and in the face of challenges to one's frame from others. Since Donovan is the last one to show up, we'll bring him up because I'm sure he's well versed in handling shit tests.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. Yeah, shit tests. The first thing that men should understand about shit tests is that women don't shit test men that they're not sexually attracted to. Okay. So for example, let's say you start chatting up a girl and you're at CVS or whatever. Hey, my name is Donovan, or my name is Alex. That's my real name. Yeah, my name is what's a current name? My name is Deborah. I don't know if we're making those anymore. And so you guys get to talking, right? You're escalating and everything. And so you're talking to her for about 10 minutes. At that point, that's when you go for the number close, right? What is the most common shit test we get when you go for the number close? I have a boyfriend. Okay. Now, the earlier in the set that occurs, the more likely that is a rejection, right? So if you approach a girl, hi, my name's Donovan, and she says, I have a boyfriend. That's not a shit test, gentlemen. Okay. That is a rejection. But if you're talking to her for 10, 15 minutes and you say, hey, put your number in my phone, we'll hang out, and she says, I have a boyfriend, that is a shit test. The answer to that shit test is, well, he's not invited, right? And do it kind of with a smirk on your face. So that's the first thing I'll say about shit tests. The second thing I'll say about shit tests, guys, is what it really comes down to is being honest. Masculinity is just being honest. So when your girl, let's say you're in a relationship and your girlfriend, wife, whoever decides to try to shit test you, one of the most common shit tests that women like to deploy, and they don't know that it's a shit test, is here. Hold my purse. No. You are absolutely not going to hold her purse, because it starts with hold my purse, and then all of a sudden it's hold my phone, and then the next thing you know, you're basically like a trained monkey. So I think what men need to realize and understand about shit tests is that shit tests they generally come when a woman wants something from you, or when she's sort of testing your masculinity, or if she's turned on by you. Women do not shit test men that they are not sexually attracted to. That's all there is to it, man.
That's a really good point, because one thing, whenever I talk about shit tests, there's always those MGTOW losers, to steal from MLD, that they'll sit there and go, well, fuck these bitches that test me, man. Like, if a bitch tests me, I'm walking. It's like, well,
ridiculous.
You can walk.
Meathead
The next girl's going to do it too, because they all do it either consciously or subconsciously. So you better learn how to deal with it. Or you're never going to be successful with women. You're never going to be successful.
Listen, and here's the thing: women have to shit test us, guys, because I don't know that a lot of men understand this, but there's a lot more at stake for women when they have sex with a man. There's pregnancies, STDs, and they're not thinking about this. This is all in their firmware. This is happening without them even realizing it. It's all subconscious. This is why women are far more selective than men, because they have a lot more at stake when it comes to sex. Women have to test you, because you think of it this way. Let's say that you were to approach a girl. Hi, my name's Donovan. My name's Debbie. You ask her, hey, do you want to go have sex? And she says, yeah, okay, let's go. What are you now? 10 times out of 10, guys are going to want to have sex with her. But if you have experience, you're like, wait a minute, that was way too easy. Like, why didn't she? So she just agreed to have sex with me in 5 seconds. What's wrong with this girl? Is she not a woman? Is she really, another gender, or does her coochie smell? There's always
your Madonna whore complex really kicks in with that.
Not only that, if it's that easy to sleep with a girl, you should probably expect an invoice at the end of the night. Kristen, now here's the thing. Christian Martin says, I disagree with Donovan. Any quote, I have a boyfriend, is a rejection, or at least you should treat it that way. If she has a boyfriend, I want nothing to do with. Gentlemen, this is why you're losing. Listen, with respect, due respect, Christian Martin, I understand what you're saying here. But when a woman says I have a boyfriend, it doesn't always mean she has a boyfriend. I'm trying to tell you. And again, it's the timing. If she tells you she has a boyfriend right after you approach her or shortly after you start talking to her, that is a rejection. But if you're sitting there, quote unquote, vibing out, you're making her laugh, you guys are telling jokes, you guys are talking about what you guys like to do for fun, et cetera, then you say, well, you know what? I noticed that you like to ride go-karts. We talked about go-karts. Here, put your number on my phone and we'll go ride go-karts. Oh, I'm sorry, I have a boyfriend. No, don't treat that like a rejection. That is a shit test, because I'll tell you something. Maybe she does have a boyfriend, but maybe she's also looking to step out on her boyfriend. Because if she really didn't like you, Christian, she would not have allowed you to escalate with her for 10 or 15 minutes only to tell you that she has a boyfriend. If she really had a boyfriend that she didn't want to cheat on, think of it this way. Let's say that someone were to approach Devin out in the wild. Do you think Devin's going to sit there and let this dude talk to her for 10 to 15 minutes before she says, I'm married? No. She's going to be like, nope, I'm married. Don't even think about it. So this is another thing about shit tests that men have to understand. Not all shit tests are created equally. And the shit test timing has a lot to do with what the intention of the shit test is. So what Christian is doing here, he's making a mistake that a lot of men make, is they're taking a woman at face value. And if you take what a woman says at face value all the time, you will not be successful in the dating market.
Yeah, sometimes
I got a little bit of a
women are
too.
Yeah.
I got
Sometimes-
for the shit test. I want to know if Donovan has used it before. When they do that shit test with the boyfriend, one of the best things to do is, you kind of hold this up, but you take it off and then you slide it on to this hand.
Yeah, there you go.
And you show it to him. It's an amazing way to defeat that shit test.
yeah.
I mean,
the girl said, I don't have a boyfriend to say he's not invited.
Sometimes women monkey branch too a lot, right? So a lot of times women might be in a relationship that they're not satisfied in, and they are looking to trade up, and you might just be the guy. Now that might be a good person to get in a relationship with yourself, but who gives a fuck? You're just fucking her right now. So.
I will give some, because Christian's is a guy who's worked with me, and I will say this: that's a great example of a guy with frame, though, because that's just no, that's his no in this, that's his line in the sand. So I respect him for saying that. As for me, I don't know if I'm getting older or I don't know what it is, but if a girl shit tests me, I'm like, all right, so you're gonna leave? I just don't care.
Right.
I just don't care. I just like, okay. So,
But understand,
understand,
that's you, MLD. And I totally get it. I totally get it. If you're like, okay, fine, you're gonna shit test me, leave, whatever. I guess I was more or less I was trying to point it out to guys who don't have that much experience with women. I'm sure Christian has frame, you have frame, I have frame, etc. But to the layperson who does not have as much experience dealing, because the only way you can build frame when it comes to women is by being put into stressful situations regarding women. And it can be a stressful situation trying to chat a woman up. I just want to let guys know, have the frame, but you have to understand that you can't always take what a woman says at face value. Now, if you're a man with experience and you've been around the block, okay, listen, she told me she had a boyfriend. Okay, fine. Have a nice day. I totally get that. But for the men who are inexperienced, just understand that it might not mean she has a boyfriend, and it might mean she actually wants to step out on him. That's all I
want to point out.
Well, and I wasn't like pushing back or saying you're wrong, Don. That wasn't what I was saying at all.
I
don't agree on everything.
I want to point out that two of the best ways to handle shit tests, right? Agree and amplify. Donovan gave an example of that, and an MLT going, okay, well, I mean, are you going to leave then? That's indifference.
Multimillionaires are just growing on trees out there. Multimillionaires are just growing on trees. I'm sure another one will just fall in your lap.
Yeah, because remember, guys, listening out there, women lie to spare your feelings. I don't know if you knew this.
Yes.
And my favorite response to that one is, you have a boyfriend? Well, I have a goldfish. What? Oh, no, shit. I'm sorry. I thought we were talking about shit that didn't matter.
Another way.
There is the concept of amuse mastery, right? I say this all the time. Now that I found this information, I am the avatar of amuse mastery, because if it's not actually important, it doesn't fucking matter to me. And it's the same thing with the going back to the shit test about the holding the purse thing. That came up in one of the Bible study discussions we had in Fresh and Fit, where we're reading some Rollo and other people's, like Donovan's Womanese courses. And it came up one night where one of the guys thought that, and I'm not going to name and shame, but one of the guys thought, it's no big deal. If my girl just needs me to hold her purse, it's not a big problem. And I've tried to point out to him, the thing is that your woman knows how that could make you look in public. So
Right.
if she's offering you, going like, hey, can you hold my purse for me out in public, she's already demonstrated that she doesn't fully respect you. And if you give in to that, you're failing a shit test, because she's seeing, is this guy going to actually hold my purse? And I even gave him a gem on how to deal with that. If girl's trying to get you to hold her, what's wrong with it? It should be,
Yeah, right.
Is it
What
broken?
were you like? I mean,
One thing about that specific shit test too is actually a lot of women aren't aware that they're doing it.
No,
It's very
right.
subconscious. But the thing is, it's not a shit test until you fail it. And if she goes to give you the purse and you accept that, all of a sudden something clicks in her head. Wait a second. Something's
Yeah.
off here.
I'm
And
so
now then she's going to start testing you more. But if you go,
Yeah.
no, honey, you keep your own purse, she's going to say, huh,
Yeah.
okay, there's something.
I'm-
That's one of the
I
other
think-
things.
I think
Thank
I'm
you,
just
Paul.
I think I'm just super spoiled with Japanese girls because they don't do that to me. But like, I guess the
Nice.
thing that I won't like though, and I'm having traumatizing flashbacks of when I lived in America.
He's triggered.
My brain is just. But when it comes down to like, that I don't like being told what to do. When they're
Yes.
that's my thing. When they're like, hold this, I'm like, you forgot to say please.
Right.
And I'll hold it. I don't give a shit. I'll do it. But like, it's how you ask it. Like, I get if she like, drops something and she wants me to hold her purse. I'm like, no, bitch, pick up your shit. Fucking.
Hey, guess what?
That was
I'm the no.
that was
bitch.
the same caveat. Yeah, that was the same caveat I gave when I was giving that demonstration to land the plane on this. And I was trying to explain to him, like, the thing is that most shit tests are subconscious. They are not a woman's not like got a notebook and a journal and planning this out like, oh, I'm going to shit test them at this time, at this spot. No, she's going to do things instinctually. And based on who you respond to, or if you respond feminine, she's going to get triggered and you're going to fail the shit test. If you respond masculine, she's going to get triggered, but in a positive way.
There you go.
So when John does something like, hey, you didn't say please, that's another really simple, good one, is that you just have her ask for manners. And the caveat that I gave as well, yeah, if she like is fumbling her Starbucks and her purse and a dog or something like that, yeah, I'm going to help the girl out, and I'm going to make fun of her the whole time that
Hold the
she's
dog.
doing it.
Yeah.
But-
Gotta make fun of her. Got it.
Yeah, help the dog, and then maybe pick some shit up to her and hand it back to her. Make fun of her a little bit, tease her. Don't be
Yeah.
too mean, but have fun with it. Once again, amuse mastery.
This is why I just don't like American women. Like holding your purse has not come up in my life for the last 7 years that I've been living in Tokyo.
John, it's never happened to me either. That's why I was trying to tell the guys like that comeback about like saying, is it broken? I came up with that on the fly when they presented that scenario to me. I've never had this problem. No woman has ever asked me to hold their purse. So
And I think the reason women are on autopilot with shit tests, and it's just like Paul said, most shit tests are subconscious. They don't realize that they're actually shit testing you. But shit testing is a woman's way to filter out the winners from the losers. That's really what a shit test is. It's almost like they have to bite the gold to make sure that it's soft, because there's a lot of fool's gold out there. There are a lot of guys who look like they're alpha males or they have money, so you think that they might have game, and then all of a sudden the girl shit tests him and she's like, well, wait a minute, this guy drives this car and he looks this good, but he lets me walk all over him. So now she's going to put him in another category. So just understand. And I totally agree. If you have a lot of experience with women, I understand that shit testing can get a little bit annoying. Just understand that shit testing is it's a woman's way of sort of filtering out the guy she wants to have sex with and the guy she doesn't. That's not right. That's not wrong. That's just how they are.
Don, I want to ask you a question about that then. So I'm not experiencing a lot of that. This is not me gloating or whatever, but I'm pretty much I'm pretty good with women to a degree. And do you think that they only shit test guys that they're unsure about? Like the more unsure she is, the more she shit tests you?
Yeah, that's another reason. Yeah. The more unsure, and again, the base. Okay, so she's unsure, but she knows she's attracted to you, right? Like I said, girls don't shit test men that they're not sexually attracted to. If they're shit testing a man that they're not sexually attracted to, that's just called being disrespectful, because she doesn't care what the response is, right? So that filtering system comes in. She's like, okay, I'm attracted to this guy, but I don't know, is this guy a player? And so what do they do? They say, "Oh, you are totally, are you a player or do you get around or blah blah blah?" You go, "I've got 5 wives and 2 girlfriends, so yes." Or if they spot you with another girl, there was one girl I picked up, I actually had one of the girls I was fucking, I didn't know she saw her. And so in the text conversation, she said, "Okay, well, what about the big boob chick that I saw you with at the grocery store?" I said, "She's a close friend. She's working tonight." She's like, "Okay, so she seemed pretty attached to you. Are you guys like an item?" I said, "We don't cuddle after sex, so no." Okay. And so and so what I think guys have to realize is that it's just like I said, it's just well, sorry about that. It's like a filtering system, and like I said, they have to be attracted to you, but they do it just like you said, John, when they're very unsure. Because if they're sure about what they want to do, then the conversation just flows. But if at any point they're a little unsure about your status or what your intentions are, that's when they shit test you.
I'll add this too, because you actually brought up a really good point. There is a difference between blatant disrespect and a shit test. Usually a shit test is a playful jab. It's not really meant to hurt your feelings or anything. But there is a clear example of blatant disrespect where she just is like, fuck off, loser. That's not a shit test.
No, you're right. And here's the difference. A lot of people, a lot of guys ask, "Okay, well, Donovan, how can I distinguish the difference between a shit test and disrespect?" If what she says or does pisses you off, it's probably disrespect. Because it's like Paul said, most shit tests are pretty there are some serious shit tests, but most shit tests are pretty playful, just a playful little jab. If it annoys you a little bit, it's probably a shit test. But if it pisses you off, it's probably disrespect. So just keep that in mind.
Yeah. And
sometimes you got to ask, I mean, because we are talking about Frame today, you got to ask yourself, why are you so pissed off by it too?
Exactly.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, is that Frame comes with also knowing that just like how, you're not always intentionally passing a shit test or failing a shit test. Same thing with disrespect. You can pass and fail a disrespect test.
That's right.
Right? Because you can overreact and not know how to handle it and let her push your button. And then she's like, "Yeah, I knew it. This guy's a fucking loser. I was able to make him emotional just by pressing that button, calling him, saying he's got small dick energy." And it's just like, yeah, because you have no frame. So you're going to overreact to it. And then you confirm her worst fears that, oh, this dude is a fucking loser.
I have something.
Speaking of small dick energy, Huds is here.
Hey. What's going on, guys? This is my birthday weekend, so
hey, happy birthday!
Thank you so much. So
nobody cares.
I've been doing some other things, but I saw MLD and Donovan on the panel, and I'm like, you know what? I gotta hop on.
So you're clout chasing.
Well, if you who wants to get triggered on the panel, because I have the perfect example.
Let's do it.
All right.
Okay. I'm going to screen share something, and I'm going to show you an example of a man who has completely lost frame to his woman, and now she is publicly humiliating this guy. So I was on
already triggered.
Yeah, get ready. All right. So take a look at this. Paul, if you want to add that. So this is a woman. POV, you and your husband have working through his toxic masculinity for the last 5 years, and he finally gets it. And that's her husband on the floor crying about himself. I'm just going to read this to you. As many of you know, this has been a long and difficult battle for my husband and me. Through the years, and this is the red flag, we have broken up, separated, but also chose to come back together to learn and grow. At this point in our relationship, we are doing the best we've ever done. I'm so thankful for how far we've come, and know we still have a far way to go. AKA, he still needs to bend the knee further. As we are all changing and evolving, however, things have been going relatively easy consistently for about a month now. For the first time in our relationship, I'm so grateful and love him so fucking much. I want to start by acknowledging masculinity isn't inherently toxic. When I talk about toxic masculinity, I'm talking about violence, domination, emotional illiteracy, sexual entitlement, hostility to femininity, homophobia, need for control. That's frame right there. And she is the one. She's saying she doesn't have control. She basically, by saying he wants to be in control, is she's saying I want the control. The actions that harm. the actions that harm other people, the behavior that keeps some men from moving forward, growing, and showing up for their families and people they love most. So that's the defensive investigator. And the hope for humanity is in the comment section. Just read it. But I just want to go back here. This right here is an example of no frame. We have broken up and separated, but they got back together. Guys, when you leave a girl, leave. It's over. Don't keep going back, because then you're going to find yourself being humiliated on the bathroom floor like this poor soul. And this is going viral, and this guy is just being completely humiliated by this chick because he has no frame whatsoever. So
he's in her frame completely. And the thing is about that is she's going to get the ick by this. Like
she's turning him into a woman.
She's not going to understand it herself. She's going to be like, I think this is what I want. I think I want this guy to kowtow to me. And then after a month of him just being completely supplicant to her, she's going to go, I don't know what it is, but you're making my vagina dry. And she's going to.
Oh, no, this is what they do. When they want to get revenge on you, okay? This is a woman with a massive ego, first and foremost.
Oh,
and you cannot have a successful relationship either side if one of you has a massive ego, okay? Secondly, he has probably done some stuff in the past that now she's like, and this is betatization by 1,000 cuts. Bro, are you kidding me? If my girl was like, sit here, okay, we're gonna record this, and you're gonna sit here and cry like a rainbow F word. Okay, I don't want to trigger Donovan.
Yeah, wait. How did that conversation go? How did that conversation start? Like,
think about that. Like,
can you look like a pussy for me in the bathroom?
Sit here and cry, and that. Like, think of how evil and calculating this woman is, and this is her revenge tour, and she's going to beat him down, cheat and leave.
Yeah, that's it. You know what?
With a more masculine man, she's going to cheat with a more manly man.
Mm-hmm. You want to know what the weird thing is like, it just off the topic. If your girl ever does catch you cheating, she never leaves until you stop cheating. It's absolutely no, I'm serious. They leave. I've had so many experiences like this. They leave when I stop cheating. It's crazy.
So there's a comment here that I would like MLD to address if he thinks it's even worth his time.
Probably not. All right. Okay. Cool. I guess
Seeing girls in Japan is nothing special. Okay, you got it.
Thanks so much for your profound insight. I'll go. We'll end the show on that one. I don't even care.
Okay.
Whatever. That's retarded.
We do not care.
Yeah, so I mean, I'll give this guy.
Retard alert.
So that's like, who gives a shit about that? But going back to the thing at hand here. This man is betraying himself.
Yes.
This man has betrayed himself. And, he is, and then can I reshare the screen? Can I just do that? Okay. Let me just show you some red flags here. Again, the red flags are there for a reason. Okay. So there's the tattooed Jezebel right there. So, all the red flags in the world right there.
This woman.
Okay, this is pump and dump and then run and block. Okay, that's exactly what you do. They're in Oregon, which is the most try-hard state in the world. They try so hard to be as woke as California. But you can see the things here. Leave your wife. Everybody's coming out to see this. And actually, I'll just show you guys a little bit of hope for humanity in the comment section here. Oh, if I can scroll down for a second.
I mean, it's Oregon. The state already emasculated him by taking away his ability to pump his own gas.
There you go. Yep.
See, this seems like toxic femininity. Haha, dude, she's reduced you to meme material. He has a cup chair, manipulation 101. So we are winning the war here. Don't get disheartened. Gaslighting 101. Everybody here, blink twice if you need help. Everybody sees it, and hopefully this guy wakes up, because this guy is getting DMs. He is slowly but surely, hopefully going to get out of this situation.
I want to add,
if he wants this, that's what's scary to think about.
I want to add that the whole betatization process, it's a 5-step process, and most guys don't know this. I have an ebook. I'll drop a link to it in the chat. This will break down the process for you. You don't even know it's happening. She doesn't even know she's fucking doing it to you. Okay, but I'll drop a link to that in the chat if you guys want to know more.
Okay.
Yeah, I watched that same process more or less happen to a friend of mine that got with a family member that I knew, or that I had, you know, that I don't really have a lot of contact with these days. She was also the one that kind of gaslit me on certain things. And yeah, I saw it happen to him in real time. And I actually made the cardinal mistake of trying to red pill him when I found this space and found out the hard way, because he wanted it to happen. He did. He would, just like I used to be. He believed all the blue pill bullshit, and I'm the bad guy now.
Hey, Donovan, you wanted me to share something here?
Yes. So I wanted to share something about shit test. So as you guys can see on the screen, let me just blow this up, and I'll just go box by box here.
Oh my God.
Yes.
I can so relate to this.
Yes, here we go. So boy meets girl, he likes her, she likes him, right? So a little time goes by. She says, baby, enough with the cartoon shirts. You're not 15 anymore. Get a polo or something else, right? So he gets the polo, right? Gets the polo. She says, honey, maybe you should shave. And since you're doing that, get a haircut too. Then finally, Bob, I left because you're not the same person anymore. You've changed. Love, Sarah. So this, dude, this is a shit test as old as time itself. When a woman tries to change you, listen. When and this is what, and I'll stop sharing. And I really want to. Oops, I really want to make. No, that's okay.
That was me.
No, that's okay. I really want to make this point because this is something that doesn't get talked about enough. When a man attempts to change a woman, he will build her into something that he can respect, love, and admire. But when a woman attempts to change a man, she will build him into something that she abhors. This is why we have to protect women from themselves. When a man changes a woman, she becomes a better woman. But when a woman attempts to change a man, he becomes a worse man. And the excuse is always, sorry, you're not the same man I used to be. So the very first time your girl tries to change you or change her style or change her fashion, your response needs to be fuck no. Straight up.
Yeah.
Can I cap on that real quick? That's why Ray's book is so important. Rock solid frame. It's on identity. I mean, ultimately, that's what these books are on. You will always craft and shine that identity for that very purpose that Donovan just said, so that she's not crafting your identity for you.
No, and here, sorry, there's another thing you guys can do. I do this often with the girls, right? It's a subtle way to show them that you're the boss, right? So I'll go out. Well, we're about to go out. We're at the front of the house, right? And my sunglasses are all there. And I'll grab 2 pair of sunglasses, and I'll be like, "Hey, do you want to wear this one or this one?" She's like, "I think you should wear this one." I'm like, "Good, I'm going to wear these," right? and then the next time we go up, and I ask her the same thing. She's like, which one? I ask her, do you want me to wear this one or this one? And she wants me to wear this one. So she's like, wear this one. You're like, I'm not going to wear sunglasses today. Let's go.
Fuck with her. Oh, I love it.
And here's what's interesting. Something to realize. Donovan, that webcomic you shared, do you know how old that is?
Very old, because I've seen it forever.
It's over 20 years old, because I first saw that on, it was either 4chan or Reddit back when I was in high school. And it was posted in a nerd forum, and it was talking to nerds about, hey, if you manage to get a girl, which is hard because you're a nerd, but if you manage to get one, don't let her change you, because then she'll dump you. And this was in the early 2000s. This is not new stuff.
Yeah, but even Vince talks about it.
And I want to show you this guy. I'm going to show you one more picture from this guy's Instagram. Okay, take a look. This is 2016. This was Homeboy. That's the same guy on his knees begging for.
Look at back when he had the toxic masculinity that worked.
That is such bullshit. This guy has really gone downhill.
And
oh my god!
He was playing baseball. He was doing all these cool things. He's probably, can you come with me to my feminist theory class and still play baseball lessons? He's like, oh, okay, I guess so. But no frame, nothing. It's game over.
The personification of pussy whipped.
Mm-hmm.
Let me say something about shit test. What I wrote in a book is that shit test, unfortunately these days, isn't only given to you by women. Men give them too.
Ooh.
Because of how so many men have adopted feminine thought. They give just as many shit tests. And they're trying to qualify you or disqualify you for other friends. They're trying to qualify you or disqualify you for maybe the girl that you're trying to date she has a male best friend, and the first time you meet them, they're going to give you shit tests. They're going to try to disqualify you in front of her. So just keep that in mind.
Wow.
So true.
They're all out there, and it's a communications tool that are basically both sexes are using now.
And when a man shit tests you, that's disrespect.
Yeah.
It is disrespect, but I qualified it as a shit test because of the reason they're doing it. They're doing it. Most men aren't trying to disrespect you if they have a feminine view of life.
Right.
They're acting like women.
Wow.
Well, sometimes
now you say
guys,
that,
too,
Ray.
guys in groups will bust each other's balls a little bit. It's
Right.
a little
Of course.
bit different. But the way you handle it is very similar.
Yeah.
Right.
But
a
Ray,
good
now,
point, Ray.
now that you mention that, I'm thinking back to my my naval service and getting like checkouts, like knowledge checkouts from fellow nukes that were already qualified. Like they would play that shit test game to see if you're worthy or not to be in the clique.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That was something I learned in the military too, though. It's like guys who are busting your balls a little bit, they like you.
They like you. Yes.
Yeah.
Guys who don't bust your balls, they're very cordial with you, and
Yes.
they don't talk to you a lot, and they're
Yeah.
There's that aspect of it too, but I'm like referring to nukes were a little weird on the boats.
Well, they're
we're
weird.
in general,
Yeah.
but like it was just like
John,
you're either in the in group or the not in group with the nukes.
Yeah.
And they would use the feminine style shit test to, like, when you're trying to get knowledge checkouts, they'd ask you something absurd that you didn't really need to know for it to shit test you.
Yeah, and just like the whole thing is just realize that it's a qualifier or a disqualifier.
Okay.
And you're either going to pass it or you're not going to pass it. Now, should you take it from another man? No.
No, definitely not.
And-
Here's what men should definitely not be doing. What's with the geisha stuff going on, MLD? What's going on? What's going on with all
Still
that?
hot there in Japan.
Yeah,
I'm just so hot. I got to keep my temperature down here. I'm not even wearing pants.
I do
I'm in
want
my
to
underwear.
I want to talk some shit to MLD. MLD, I got some shit to talk. I don't know whether to say fuck you or bless you for dragging me into this hobby.
Probably a little bit of both, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
This This ain't
You
for
know,
everybody. That's for
it's a heavy burden to bear, man, because like, you know, God, it's fucking, but people need help, man. People need help. Like when people are like, oh, we can't water down the manosphere. You know, we gotta fucking sell pheromone soap. No, we need as many fucking goddamn soldiers out there as possible. We are vastly outnumbered. Look at Amazon. Type in how many men's self-help books there are, and then look at how many like blatant, like, here's how to manipulate a man into marrying you books.
Thank you.
And they all are just filled with yes, girl, 5-star reviews. Because listen, as Donovan always says, the number one thing to keep single women single is other single women.
Yep. Single
You
women,
know?
single women, single.
We need as many soldiers on the ground as possible. I don't care if your live stream is as shitty as Katibi's and gets like 5 people, or if you're getting thousands of people like Donovan Sharp, right? We need as many people helping because we're vastly outnumbered. But I will say, listen, man, at the end of the day, guys, we are changing the culture.
We are.
The pendulum is swinging backwards. There is no ands, ifs, or bets about it. It is now a trend on TikTok for women to get back in the kitchen. If that's not a fucking W, I don't know what is. And I'll take that one to the fucking bank and cash it in, baby.
Hallelujah.
Yes, sir.
Let's
Yeah.
get some of these super chats here real quick. Mike, if you want to bring them up and read them, I'll hit the horn.
Actually, I think John should read this one because I saw the notification. This came through on John's channel.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Shout out to Victor Ziegler, 10 euros. So true. I was a friend of everybody. There you go. Now, I was a friend of everybody. Now I realize I didn't have an identity. Strong identity equals few friends. Look, it's true. Like there's and another thing is this too. When you level up, when you get to a certain degree of success in any area, money, muscles, game, frame, right? Like I can't call my broke friends from high school and say, hey, my business isn't doing so good. I was making this amount of money and now it's only down to this. They'll be like, oh, bro, you're still making a lot of money. You know, I have to call people like Donovan and be like, hey, Don, like you're a digital marketing expert. You're a very successful man. Like, and he can be like, here's what you do, because Donovan and I are on the same level. But as you elevate and elevate and elevate, who you can relate to, it gets smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. So,
Only at the
it
top.
start like when you're friends with everybody. Like I said, man, I'm protective of myself, bro. Like I have a dog. I don't need friends. Like friends are great, but I love my dog, and I got good friends, that I could pick up the phone call and get what I need. So I don't want to be friends with everybody. And for me too, I'll tell you this, and maybe this is just me, but like talking to normies is exhausting. I'm like, bro, I do not care. I do not care. Women don't reject me. I'm not broke. Like I'm not fat. I'm not addicted to porn. I'm not addicted to drugs. Like I don't relate to this shit. And like, especially when they're just like, because a lot of people, when you're friends with everybody, you have to deal with everybody problems. And I don't want to deal with everybody problems. I have elite problems. I want elite friends. There's very few people like I called up Thor. It's like, hey, Thor, listen, I'm going to be in Cali. And can I drive out and hang out with you for a couple of days? And he's like, yeah, come on out, and then we hung out. He wasn't like, oh, I got to check in with the wife and blah, blah, blah. None of that, So it's a good thing to have a small elite group of friends. Cause like, that's how I'm like, even though I'm launching this new show and a lot of people are coming through my house, I'm just straight up in the no new friends category. Like, we can work together, we can do business together, but no, I don't want to hang out with you. No, I don't want to have lunch with you. I want to lay on my couch and watch Netflix. So
we're talking about Frame today, and you mentioned Thor not have to ask Missy if you can come over. If you have to ask your wife anything, you're not operating in your frame. You're operating in your wife's frame.
100%.
Well, I think it's okay to still ask sometimes, just out of respect. I'm just not going to listen if she says no.
I don't ask Nurse Chick. I tell her, hey, Thor's coming over.
Yeah.
I'm the same way. My girl now, I'm like, XYZ's coming over. She's like, do you need me to cook?
Yeah,
do you want me to cook for you guys?
Right out of my mouth. That's what I'll ask Devin. I've got XYZ coming over. What kind of appetizers can you whip up? And here's the thing, girls love it when a man does what the fuck he wants to do, even if it pisses them off. It's a turn on. And going back to what MLD said, yeah, you're right. You can't talk to other people about the 2 comma club problems. It just doesn't work.
Yeah, I do the same thing.
Piss them off, that's for sure. Next Thursday, our girlfriends are coming over for lunch, so be ready.
Yeah, I tell my girl what's up, and then that's when she has the opportunity to inform me of logistical issues that could come up with that plan.
There you go.
Right. Other than that, I don't want to hear it. I'm going to do what I want to do.
Look, this is how I did the CME. I said, all right, Dev, we're going to do the CME. And she's like, oh God, okay. Here are the potential challenges. And she was absolutely right, but we still pulled it off. Like, that's just how that goes.
That was good too. You did good. I know this next one will be good.
Yeah, this next one's going to be it's going to be different, but it's going to be a lot of fun.
This one's for Donovan.
Guys, woohoo. Can I do the Don DeMarco?
Yeah, do it.
Okay. There it is. Woohoo! I try not to use my soundboard on other people's panels, but yes, Ken Rose, longtime supporter of mine, longtime supporter of the show. So thanks.
Pimpin' Ken.
And we got a new $5 donation from Siege D.
Good.
Can we make this a regular lineup? Well, maybe just a few changes, like bring Paul in from Apex Mindset, great guy, and replace that jabroni Paul Bauer with Glenn Lawrence.
I don't know why you want Glenn Lawrence. He doesn't have the fucking title.
Well, I fired Glenn Lawrence about a year ago. It was absolutely necessary. So Glenn is no longer a part of my team per se. You're fired.
Glenn's always welcome, man. I know he streamed all night, so that was good.
That dude streams 24/7 now. It's crazy.
He's a grinder, that's for sure.
Dude, I thought I was. Dude, I had a 5.5 hour stream yesterday. I thought I was a goddamn G.
I've been seeing those. You going hard in the paint.
Yeah, I mean, dude, I'm a thoroughbred, homie. Like this is This is what we do. Well, yeah, I guess we could make this a regular thing because I enjoy doing these. These are great.
Every Saturday, guys. Every Saturday, the DragonShip's here. So
okay.
I actually have a few personal requests for that outside of text here. It's like, man, you got to do this.
All right.
Well, we'll see.
What do you guys say we give our final thoughts and go around the horn?
Let's do it.
All right. We'll start with Donovan.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Thanks for having me on, guys. Something that I've just sort of sort of discovered about, you know, the red pill and the manosphere is that all masculinity is, guys, is just being honest, right? This is why there's a thing called locker room talk, because we're honest with each other in the locker room. And when I say be honest, masculinity doesn't really have anything to do with, you know, you have to sound like an alpha male. No, just be honest. If a woman says something that you don't like, tell her that was stupid. You know what I mean? Or if she has something on and she asks you, well, how does that look on me? That looks absolutely fucking ridiculous. That's not being an asshole. That's being masculine. And part of the reason why I was late today is because I had actually double booked a consultation with this. Is he says, yeah, you know, this girl that I'm seeing, I really, really like her. And, you know, I had to be kind of an asshole. And I said, okay, well, what did you do that made you think it was kind of being an asshole? And I'm not going to get into the proprietary things. I was like, no, dude, you're not being an asshole. You were just being honest, and being honest is being masculine. So if anybody has any questions in terms of what is masculinity, like this existential masculinity crisis, really, there are many elements to being masculine, but I believe that at its core, the main fundamental the main fundamental thing that it comes to men when it comes to being like masculine is just being honest, no matter what.
Fair enough.
Good.
MLD, what do you got going on?
You just got to have frame, guys. You got to have a backbone. And I'm telling you, if you don't have a backbone, you're going to work for someone who does. So
right.
that's just the bottom line. Catch me on my channel, Modern Life Dating, all one word. I stream 5 days a week, Monday to Friday. I launched a new show called the Tokyo Love Show. It's pretty good success so far. We'll be launching a new channel. The social media is already taking off. Our first reel got 13,000 views on Instagram. Good. So all the data and analytics is showing up to be indicating that this is going to be a successful show. And I'll show you. I'll build another successful thing from the ground up for you guys there. Because one thing we're going to be doing on the Tokyo Love Show is I'm not going to be like arguing with women or like trying to correct them or anything, because I think that's counterintuitive at this point in our development. You know, I just want you guys to hear that there are good women out there. And I want you to hear that, like, you don't need to be afraid of women. Okay. You don't need to be living in fear. Because if you're afraid of a girl, I got bad news for you. You are a girl. Okay.
That's fair. All right. Hud,
I'm sorry.
Happy birthday.
Oh my God.
Oh, thank you, sir. Today is not my actual birthday. So that's don't want to dox myself on my actual birthday. But birthday weekend. Birthday week. Isn't that what girls do? Birthday weeks? Birthday month? Yeah. So the last thing I'm going to leave you guys with here, when we talk about, and I love MLD's backdrop, when you added that, the money, muscles, game frame, it looks fantastic. Now, I think game is always most important, because game is how you get what you want. But understand that game is about getting the relationship, being able to get any relationship that you want. Frame is about how to keep it. And the way to find me and kind of what we're doing over with my men's group, Men of Now, I will share the link again in the chat if anybody wants to follow. We are going through the entire history of the Manosphere. And actually next week is episode 1 of the 21 convention. We're going to do a 2-part episode. Yeah, well, we got to talk about it. We got to talk about the falling out. And Donovan, I may talk to you, because I may want you to come on for the second episode in a couple weeks, just to talk about how that completely screwed a bunch of things up.
All right. Tarl, what you got going on?
So still working on getting monetized on YouTube. Follow my channel. But yeah, frame trumps all, right? You know, a lot of guys say game trumps all. I say that frame trumps all, because that's how you, like Hud said, maintain everything that you've earned, right? And you know, it's funny because we talked about the ego thing earlier as well, and on a previous episode. And I actually every once in a while I look through, who's like sending me DMs that's not loud through on Instagram. And I actually received one from a guy that got triggered because I was on another panel and I have all these wonderful like art pieces and stuff like that, these pictures and whatnot, to kind of give a layout of my life. And, my family's history and stuff like that, being Oslo, Norway and all that, came over to, New York. And I'm like, I'm very glad that you said that, because now I have an opportunity to talk about, how I got where I'm at and why these things actually matter to me. And it's not just to inflate my ego. These are various stages of my life that I view as something to remember to keep myself on course. This is my identity. This is my frame. I'm descended from Norse Vikings. Thanks to my sister getting born in the lockdowns, I now know this historically and, genetically. So that's my identity, and I can now truly own that and get where I'm at. I've spent a lot of effort in gaining my reputation, because like when I first was trying to help MLD out with his internet, nobody knows who the fuck I am. And how do I tell a multimillionaire that he's got an internet problem that he can't perceive? Right? It's an uphill battle. So what do I have to do? I have to raise my reputation. I have to wait for a pain point, just like with Fresh and Fit, just like with Donovan. I put the offers out there, but I always had to wait for that pain point to actually solve that problem for somebody. That took frame and self-control, emotional discipline, in order to not be like spurging out in the chat going, I've got your fix, listen to me. Like, it doesn't work that way. That, you have to be in control of yourself to gain success. You got to come up with a real plan and figure out the steps that it's going to take for you to reach that goal. That's where that mindset, that planning, that framework is built in your life. And that's how you win.
All right. Mike Steele.
Thank you very much, Paul. Guys, if you're struggling with things like frame, for example, as the topic of the show was today, and you don't have a mentor in your life or a coach, get one. First, try to find one that's, someone you can actually visit and meet with in person. Someone that's maybe already in your life. Hell, maybe that estranged uncle didn't really do what the family said he did. Or maybe he did. Reach out to him, see what's up. But if you don't have a coach you can reach out to in your life, in person, hit up one of these guys. I am incredibly humbled and privileged to be literally on the same stream. Now, we lost Donovan a second ago. He had to go somewhere, I think. But to be on the same stream with my coaches, Thor, John, Donovan, Paul, Wraith, like, these guys have helped me, and now here I am streaming with them. There are days where I get imposter syndrome and I don't feel worthy. But it keeps me humble and thankful, and I still reach out to them for help and advice and guidance and additional perspective. And that's more important than anything. It's been the most effective thing that has helped me. So guys listening out there, get yourself a coach, get yourself a mentor, check your social circle first. If you can't find anyone, hit up these guys. They can really, really help you. They helped me a lot. I used to be this nervous little hamster, and now I've moved my life in a very different direction, and I'm making progress. The growth never stops. The work never ends. But I'm constantly improving and making progress. And even though I did all the work, I needed a compass. And these guys gave that to me, and I'm forever thankful. Thank you, guys.
Is that an A-Wing behind you or a Jedi Starfighter?
That's an A-Wing.
Cool.
Thank you, John.
AJ, what's going on with you, man?
I just put my links in the chat. Final thoughts on this. So I came into the space through MLD, and because of the teachings that I've learned from pretty much everyone on this panel, one way or another, I wouldn't be where I'm at right now. With like I said earlier in the show, I officially tomorrow my promotion takes effect. If it wasn't for learning how to get frame, I would have never passed the interview to move to this current company I'm with, and in less than 18 months get up to the top in the salaried or in the wage area for my position. So I gotta say thank you to all you guys on that. I got the book coming out soon, to which everyone on this panel is mentioned in there at least once. Even Donovan Sharp is mentioned in there. You're all in the acknowledgments in this book as well. That's all I got.
Nice. I'll go with myself. We'll do Thor, and then we'll wrap up with Wraith here. Guys, get my book. It's out too. The Essential Skills of a Masculine Presence, Psychology Paradigm. A lot of what your results are in life come from your internal programming. And this book, once the audiobook's done, if you listen to it multiple times, you're going to unfuck yourself pretty good. Tune into the podcast on Monday. I'm continuing with my Book of Puck series. I think we're up to chapters 50. So it's a long ass book, but it's well worth it. And I try to make it fun. All right. I'm going to hand this over to Thor. What's going on with you, Thor?
Hey, all good, man. I'm so excited that you know, the book has come out, and this book series is really starting to shape up. I don't think I'm talking out of place that you've got the guys on the DragonShip committed, and we got at least 3/4 of the guys on Rule Zero committed, including Donovan and including John Fitch, who I just posted his links in there. He's trying to get in and say hi to everybody, but he didn't get to. Huds has got one coming out. Mike Steele's got one coming out. MLD said he was going to do one too. So we are so excited for Jonathan MLD. I can't wait to see what he's going to put down in his book as part of the series.
Oh, we're talking about money.
Oh man, that's a skill of prosperity.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. And you've proven that. And definitely your experiences would be extremely valuable being a multi-million-dollar earner, which I've experienced and watched you firsthand. And I really appreciated you and John coming out and visiting me. It was a real pleasure. You guys are some of my favorite humans for sure.
Sorry about all the weed I smoked.
That's your problem.
Give me Vegas flashbacks.
I'm sure Fitch didn't mind.
I was just hoping for the strippers and the cocaine, but it didn't show. What the hell?
Fitch is blowing through all my weed.
You guys are journeymen for sure.
All right.
Good times. But yeah, I mean, I posted all the links. Guys, I did post one link in there. If you go back through the chat, if you like the intro music today, you can download it yourself. If you find the link, it'll be there. So,
all right. And we'll have Thor, or sorry, Wraith, with the closing thoughts, since we are talking about Frame and his book today.
Yeah, and I appreciate all the comments from you guys. But like I said, mostly the book is about giving you techniques, skills that you can use to, you know, start basically developing a frame and understanding it. Everybody has a frame. It's just whether you have yours or you're using someone else's, I guess. That's one way to put it. I have a lot of books coming out. I've got 4 written right now. And there's 2 out right now. So, you know, if you want to see those books, you can go on Amazon. They're there. And they're not the normal red pill type books. A lot of them are comparisons of, you know, thought and stuff like that. But really, the main thing is, you know, when you talk about frame, you're talking about who you are, who people see you are, and how you think of who you are in your mind and how that's represented. So if you don't do anything, you know, buy the book for just to read so that you can start evaluating yourself. But as far as, you know, where I'm at, I'm on Wraith_Detour, Instagram, Facebook, Telegram, X. You can reach me at any of those places. I hope you enjoy the book if you do buy it, and I hope you get some value out of it. And like I said, once again, to all the gentlemen on here and all the people that are, you know, responding to me in Telegram and on Instagram, thank you for the comments. Thank you for the, you know, the praise. But really, it's about changing lives and making, you know, giving men the opportunity to really be men. So,
all right. All right, that's all we have. Guys, we do have new DragonShip episodes every Saturday at 1:30 Eastern time. So if you guys enjoyed this episode, definitely come back. That's all we have. Skull.